everybody wants to help the children, everybody wants to mentor someone. All of those are notable, laudable, and great programs. But sometimes you've got to do things that aren't that popular. Sometimes you've got to help the father, you've got to help the mother, you've got to help the family. That's where you'll have a clean heart but dirty hands because you're trying to open doors, kick down barriers to make a difference for other people. We need power. Now on this stage today are persons that have opened doors. Far too often people will get into a position of power and will take up the bridge, will remove the ladder, will not throw the rope, never look back. We're honoring people that have continued the tradition of extending and increasing our power. Give that a round of applause. Before I make mention of some great and notable women, and there are so many and we're so proud, there's another man in here that I have to acknowledge besides my father, the great Reverend Jesse Jackson. It's been 400 years of Africans in the America, from 1619 to 2019. We are blessed to live in the great state of Illinois, where we have an African-American man on the Supreme Court in Justice Neville. Justice Neville, why don't you shake your hand? That's big stuff, ladies. Can you believe in the history of America, not one African-American woman has been interviewed to be on the Supreme Court of the United States? And you wonder what's wrong with this country. In 400 years. But let me tell you, it's been 400 years, and look at the hole we've come from to the heights we've ascended to. This is the 100th year anniversary of the Red Summer that happened right here in the city of Chicago. On July 27th, let us remember our history. A young African-American child was swimming on the lakefront around 25th to 29th Street, crossed an imaginary line where he was stoned to death, and a riot ensued. African Americans in 1916, 17, and 18 were coming out of the South with skills, and they came up against immigrants that feared our labor force. We still have those same frictions in the union and labor force today. We've got to fight for power for the whole family. In conclusion, we honor Reverend Martin Luther King in his 90th birthday year. We're not ashamed to mention Reverend Martin Luther King's name all year long. I want to thank my father for having been planted in Chicago, been put on an economic mission by Reverend Martin Luther King, and for 53 years he's never stopped. I want to thank my mother, Mrs. Jacqueline Jackson, having been there every step of the way, who believed in this women's force and this women's movement. Thank you, Mom, for your tireless contribution, your dedication, and your life's work. In this 50th year of Shirley Chisholm, our children have to know these names. I know I'm putting some people to sleep because you're about to put me to sleep. I'm only going over this out of love, brothers and sisters, because if we don't mention these names, who will? Just the other week, Dad, it was the 10th year anniversary of Michael Jackson's death. And you didn't hear one song of his on the radio. And pretty soon it looks like we did nothing. But let me tell you, in Faneuil Hall in Boston now, there's a slave marker going up showing where our people were bought and sold. There's a marker going up in New York City showing where we were courageous, where we were bought and sold. There's a marker going up to remember our history in Camden, New Jersey, so that we don't forget. We thank God for Brian Stevenson at the Lynching Museum in Montgomery for teaching us about our history. We're not going to be ashamed. From the history, we can go forward. Without the history, we can do nothing. We thank God for the reparations hearing and committee and the work of John Conyers. We thank God for Miss Maxine Waters for having stood up to reclaim my time. So it's not about us getting the first and being the only. I salute these women that are now going to be honorees for pushing things forward. I want to see and congratulate the women, the corporate women that come here that bring resources to keep the doors for this organization open. Some people are afraid to be seen next to power. Some people go behind these powerful corridors and say, I've got to bring something back to my people. I salute you because you want the power. It's been too long in the name of Sojourner Truth and Mary McLeod Bethune and Miss Ida B. Wells. We will not forget those that fought and bled and died. They may be gone, but their spirit lives on and marches with us. It is my privilege to introduce my father, the Right Reverend Jesse Lewis Jackson.
Some of the women we're honoring today are the mayors are meeting in Honolulu, Hawaii today, so some of them are not here. Maxine Waters is called doing her work in Washington where she should be. But we want to honor those that we agreed to honor who are present. Before I go, let me say first, the chairman of the Cook County organization, Chairman Tony Prewinkle. Tony, won't you stand? Give her a big hand. Where's Tony? Where's Tony? Give her a big hand. I wanted to get up on the stage. She's trying to be cool laying back there. A big hand for Tony Prewinkle, please. She's our chairman, and she's running again. We support her. Say, Tony is running again. We're running with her. Give her a big hand, Tony.
Good afternoon. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Tony Prewinkle. I served in the City Council in Chicago for 19 years, and for the last 9 years I've served as president of the Cook County Board of Commissioners, the first African American woman to be elected to that position. And I want to acknowledge my predecessor, who served out the term of President John Stroger, President Bobby Steele, who I know is in the back there. Please give her a round of applause. She was the first woman, the first African-American woman to be president of the Cook County Board of Commissioners, and I was the first to be elected. I want to thank Reverend Jackson and Rainbow Push and the Citizen Education Fund for its commitment to combating racism and sexism and increasing economic opportunity in every community around the country and ensuring the protection of all of our citizens under the law. We have lots of challenges in this country, and we need to remember that as our country is increasingly divided, that we need to stand together. Those of us who believe that it's important to acknowledge and fight racism, those who believe it's important to acknowledge and fight sexism. These are principles to which we need to be committed. I know the International Convention is now in its 48th year. I want to congratulate and commend Operation Push, Jesse Jackson, all of the staff members who put this conference together. I know that it's an inspiring and meaningful experience for all of you who are here. Thank you very much for the opportunity to address you.
For honorees, we're having a working lunch. President of the National Organization of Black Elected Women, Noble, Minority Leader, Tennessee House of Representatives, Tennessee 87th District, Karen Camper. Karen, give her a hand, please, as we honor her. Come get your award, Karen. Where's Jan Camps. Memphis, Tennessee, Karen Camper. Karen?
Can I make a comment? Praise the Lord, everybody. I am so honored to be here with you all. I bring you greetings from the great state of Tennessee. And I am so honored to be here with the great Reverend Jesse Jackson. I really appreciate this award. I was so excited to know that I would be someone that they would consider honoring. And when we're doing our hard work and we're just working, we're not looking for any grandiose receptions or any grandiose awards, but God has been good to me. And I'm honored today that my father, who lives in Chicago, is here with me. My stepmom is here with me. My sister, my son, and my niece. Thank you, Reverend Jackson. Thank you, Ms. Jackson, for considering me. To God be the glory.
Just pick up an award. Young man, just bring the bass.
Karen?
A little story about this award. For years, we've been trying to find an appropriate award for women. Tea is the second most consumed beverage in the world. Teapots have followed the Silk Road from ancient times, and we thought the most appropriate thing for this event would be the symbolism would be the teapot. Tea has been very critical for our movement. Men, once upon a time, did not want women to assemble, but women chose to assemble under the guise of having tea. And it was through tea that the suffrage movement was made successful. It was through tea that the abolition movement was able to form and meet. And it was through tea that we were able to assemble in the South for the freedom movement and the abolition of slavery. And I'm very happy that we found a Satsuma teapot made in Japan, and all of their pots were made with lovely women on the front and back. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, this may not be yours, but and the tea bag is a Lipton bag that we used in the South.
Quentin DeAlexander is the mastermind behind this event, and he has displayed some of the most beautiful gowns. So let's talk to some of those who are hosting this event. Let's start here. Give us your name and a little bit about yourself. What brought you to this event?
Amazing gown.
So it is a beautiful gown, wonderful, black, and elegant. Is this your first time modeling for Quentin DeAlexander?
No, this is actually my second time, and this is my second time wearing my favorite dress. It's just so stunning. I got to the party and it's nasty.
Very well. Now, what's the background on yourself? Are you modeling full time? What do you do, I guess that's what you say, in your daily life?
Really, actually, I'm just a model too right now. I'm a camp director, so I'm in 93 days.
Listen, you guys can
He was like, yeah.
I
I don't have any designer on. And designers, I don't know.
I'm actually a junior in high school.
We got one coming.
I met my mom. Shows me a dress.
Oh, well, you definitely wear that one well, and of course, let's get a take a look at this. I love these colors, very beautiful, perfectly fitting you. And so, now, you say you're a junior right now. What are your aspirations? Are you looking to be a model full-time?
I think I'm looking to be a model full-time. I actually more into interior design.
Looking forward to your interior design. Thank you. And next, this lovely lady, give us your name and tell us what brought you to this event.
Hi, my name is Jamie, and I actually won the Miss Globe Illinois title, and this is last year. Yeah, so just a couple months ago, and that was run by Catherine in Francisco. So yeah, I was connected with women and come on, try a dress, and I'm told it's my color, so it's like, yeah.
Let's get a look at this one. Definitely a beautiful design. I love the frills. It's so wonderful. So now, what are some of your future aspirations? Are you planning to continue modeling or as a career?
There's so many things there. But I would like to do a little more modeling, definitely. I'm actually a professional, so I'm very passionate about making people healthy and providing those sorts of opportunities for people to achieve their wellness goals. So, yeah.
And this lovely lady right here, give us your name and what brings you to this event.
Hello, my name is Zakia, and I became in contact with Quentin DeAlexander through a parent who thought I would model his fashions well, and so now I'm here modeling this beautiful gown today.
Oh, okay. So give us a little bit about your background. Have you modeled before, and what are some of your career aspirations? What do you do?
Well, I have modeled before freelance. While I was living in South Korea, I was there teaching and ended up freelance modeling.
So you said you've been to South Korea. Tell us a bit about South Korea. Did you learn the language there?
Actually, yes, I did learn the language while living there. Conversationally, I'm not fluent yet, but I can say a few things.
Okay. Well, say something to us in Korean and then tell us what you said.
Okay. 안녕하세요. 저는 너무 행복하고 오늘 예쁜 옷을 입고 좋아하는 사람을.
Oh, wonderful. All right now. Now, give us a translation.
I said I'm really happy to be here, beautiful people, and wearing beautiful clothes on the day.
All right, wonderful. Let's get a look at this gown here. I love the design, the feathers. Beautiful. You definitely word well. Good recommendation for you to come and be a part of this show. Well, these lovely ladies must go back in and continue mingling and hosting and being their beautiful selves as they display these gowns. And I myself am wearing a Quentin DeAlexander design. And somehow we managed to find something that accentuates the color and everything else. So I'm grateful to have found a dress, and I might not give it back. I'm Naima Latif. You're watching the Media Connection here at the Southern Museum of African American History, where we dream in color. Humanitarian awards are going on, and we'll be right back in just a moment. And we are back with another fabulous design by Quentin D. Alexander, by one of the beautiful models. Give us your name and what brings you to this event tonight.
My name is Rebecca Hartfield. What brings me here is my pageant director from last year, Catherine Sisko. I was the reigning queen of 2018 Miss Globe, Illinois, and she brought me here as a model and award girl.
So tell us about Miss Globe. Miss Globe. What is it that you have? What are some of the things that are part of that?
So we have to do a swimsuit, evening gown, and interview, and to bring back the beauty of women and help women and girls have confidence in themselves and understand what it is to be really beautiful.
So in your interview, what do you think you said that helped you to win the gold?
Thank you so much. Well, my platform is domestic violence because I myself is a domestic violence survivor. And so I honestly just brought myself out instead of just saying what I thought was right. I just said what I felt from my heart. And that's, I feel, what helped me win Miss Globe.
That is really amazing, and I congratulate you for your courage. You know, domestic violence, as a matter of fact, we were talking about that on the radio today on our show, The Female Solution. The fact that that's one of those stigmas, and sometimes women feel ashamed, even though they're the ones that are being victimized. So what gave you the courage to talk about that?
Because it's something that is not talked about, and I believe that it should be talked about around the world because it's a very common thing, but nobody really knows about it, and I am not ashamed of what happened to me. I take it as a lesson and as a character builder that I would not be who I am today if it didn't happen. I wish it didn't happen to me, but I would not be who I am to this day if it didn't happen.
So one last question again. What do you think is the remedy to domestic violence? What do we need to do to make that not happen?
Well, first thing I feel is women need to take the power that they know they have, that they truly have, and not to be submissive to anybody, not just men, to anybody. Do not allow anybody to take advantage of that. And then the second thing is to raise awareness and signs of domestic violence. Like, for me, it was my father, and he was always around me. So that's sometimes a sign of women or children or men even being domestically abused, is their abuser always around them, watching them, listening to them, saying things for them. And so to raise awareness is to let people know what it is, what the signs are for that domestic violence.
Thank you so much for your courage. I appreciate it.
Now you gotta ask Mike. I really ain't gonna bring him out there.
Championing this cause. This is a beautiful gown. Let's take a look at it. Oh, and the train and everything. You wear it well.
Thank
Definitely.
you.
So will you be doing more modeling?
Yes, I will. I'm not sure what he has in store, but I will be doing more modeling. I love this dress. It is a wonderful dress, and he has so many more wonderful dresses. I can't wait to see them on stage.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right. I'm Naeem Latif with the Media Connection, and we'll be back with more in just a moment. We're going to give you a little snippet of what's happening inside. We'll be right back.